Everything is Awesome is part of Courts and Parts, a podcast network featuring pop culture, TV, movie, and geek podcasts. Check out some of our other shows, like TV Ate My Brain, Let's Chat with Revelin Friends, and Podstalgic at courtsandparts.com.
Awesome. Just tell people they're awesome and mean it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
Did you have an awesome time? Did you drink awesome shooters and listen to awesome music and then just sit around and soak up each other's awesomeness?
Awesome. 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 That was awesome. You guys are awesome.
No.
You're awesome. You are awesome.
Sir, you are awesome. Seriously.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Welcome to this week's edition of Everything is Awesome. I am your host, Kev, and this is the show where we sit down and talk to awesome people about awesome things. Now, this week's show is going to be a little different, a little shorter. I was sick for the last few days and, busy over the weekend doing family dad things. So I kind of forgot that I didn't have an interview recorded for this show this week. And I think we were supposed to be talking to Dana, the founder of Bullies Cape Out. And because we had to rearrange that schedule with that interview, on top of me getting sick and just honestly plain forgetting about it, we don't have a show this week. So we're going to do, this one is two things we're going to do. At the end of this, I'm going to tack on a podcast that I had recorded with my son approximately 2 years ago, maybe 21 months ago, if I want to get exact. He was a little over about 3.5, and he's really into like the shedio. It's our shed that I turned into a studio. And I was going through some audio today, trying to find something that maybe I could play for you guys to not be incredibly late or just put off a week of shows. And I came across like 4 or 5 episodes of this thing that it's, as of the recording that we're going to play today, it was called Convos with Kiddos, but somewhere in my notes, I also have it labeled as Kid Chat. So I'm not sure exactly what the name that we were going with for it, but Convos with Kiddos is the going name. I like that name, if I'm not going to, toot my own horn too much. And, my daughter was only a little over a year old at the time that my son and I recorded this, so she obviously isn't part of it. But I'm listening back to it, and it's just adorable. It's just really fun, and I'm glad that we sat down and recorded some things. Over the course of like December of 2015 into, I believe, August of 2016, and that I think actually it's August to August. I think we did 5 episodes in the course of a year, so I might be sprinkling them in to random episodes of Everything is Awesome. I'm going to see, because he's really like into my old mixer board. He wants me to set it up for him. So, and I'm in the middle of remodeling my studio, the shedio, ripping the walls down, hanging some walls, new drywall up, getting rid of the pegboard look, making it look less garagey, less sheddy, and just making it look a bit more studio-like. Gonna have a corner for, obviously storage and some of my tools and whatnot, but I really want to make it more studio-friendly. So, and one of the reasons is that I do want to start doing my shows out of there again. I want to have, some people in studio as guests. We have a couple, hopefully I get it done in time, or at least the bare bones of it done in time. We're going to have a couple local podcasts. We are the #1 podcast in Bucks County, but as it turns out, we're not the only podcast in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. There is at least one other that we found, Nerds with Words. One of the hosts, if not both of the hosts, are not that far away from me. So we're going to be getting together to cross-promote for the Philadelphia Podcast Fest, and which is going to be in July. We are doing our show July 16th at 2 p.m. No, and we've already got our comedian, Brian Durkin, has volunteered. He came to me, wanted to be a comedian for Everything is Awesome Late Night. So I'm really excited that show's already half planned and whatnot. So anyway, back to the point. So working on the Shedio to make it a little bit more studio friendly so that we can have in-studio guests. And with that, hopefully will come more recordings with my kids. Both my son, Trey, and my daughter, Aubrey. And here's why. Listening to that short 5-minute conversation I had with my son almost 2 years ago, 21 months ago, it's just amazing how different he sounds. Like, you know, it obviously sounds like my kid and whatnot, but like he was only 3, so like his voice is a little bit more kid-like, whereas now, I mean, just compared, he sounds like an adult almost. You know, it's nuts. And living in this world that I have said for the better part of 3 to 5 years, if not longer, that I really do want to sit down and record podcasts with my family, because, you know, we always have video, we always have pictures. But here's the disadvantage to both of them. Video is much easier to carry around with us today than it was back in the day. But ultimately, you know, that's always going to be a higher storage. You know, it's going to be something that you might not have readily available to you. Same thing with pictures. You're going to have that readily available to you, but there's no audio to go along with that. So podcasting, the audio medium, is actually kind of a neat time capsule of sorts, because it's, you know, it's not super high quality like video, but it's higher than photo in the sense that you get that audio, you capture that audio, and you know, you will always remember what your family looks like, because you will always have something to remind you, whether it's just looking into the mirror or looking at pictures that you have around your home or your phone or whatever. You never forget what your family looks like. It's with you forever. But one of the first things to go from your memory is what that person sounds like, which is awful, because that what a person sounds like, you know, I don't want to say it defines them, but I mean, that's the first thing that you recognize as a human is you recognize mommy and daddy's voice and whatnot, and it's something that, you know, I'm definitely not I've put off for I think I've been talking about it for 5 years. Something I put off for 5 years. Haven't done it yet, but like I'm waiting for the right time for me and my family to do it, simply because losing my uncle last year in November has kind of been a catalyst to kind of do things like that. And so I'm definitely doing it, and listening to this short little conversation I had with my son proves that, like, I need to do it, because not only is sitting down and having these conversations with my family, and I think everyone should do this, even I think everyone should do a podcast, but you know what? If you don't want to do that, sit down with your phone, hit record, and record a conversation with your mom or with your dad or with the closest relative that you have that might be a generation before you, you know, a little older than you, so that they can kind of tell you about yesteryear, because, you know, all the information that my grandfather had that he maybe didn't get to tell my father or my mother, you know, depending on which grandfather you're talking about, that's lost. That's lost forever. No one else has that information but him. So, like, just to sit down and talk with your family about where you came from, where they came from, to get some of that cool information. You know, you might be sitting here thinking, what information am I going to learn or gather from sitting around talking to my parents and kind of interviewing them for lack of a better word. It was approximately 12 months ago, almost a year ago, when I was getting ready to do an interview with 25 O'Clock Pod and Dan Drago. And I was calling my dad on my way down there to get some information about this one little piece of story that I had remembered, from maybe a year before that my dad had dropped on me, and that was that my grandfather, my father's father, was an exceptional pitcher for baseball. And back in the day, before the Philadelphia Phillies were the Phillies, they were the Philadelphia Athletics. And he had an opportunity, he had a contract offered to him by them. But back in those days, sports didn't pay well. So his parents, my great-parents, said, "What are you? Don't be dumb. Get a real job." So he didn't go and pursue that, career in baseball. But that's nuts to me. That is so nuts to me. That's something that I only learned in my 30s, and I'm only 32, going on 33 this year. So I think that there's important information that you could not only learn for yourself. You might not have kids now. Maybe you'll never have kids. Maybe you don't want to have kids. But eventually, most of us are going to have kids. That is some kick-ass information to be able to give to your kids. And not even that, but just hey, kid, here is a conversation I had with your grandfather or your grandmother or your aunts or your uncles or whatever. It was just us shooting the shit. And this is them being real. This is two adults talking. You know him as Pop. And maybe he passed away or whatever the situation is. You can pass along that info, that audio to your kid, and they get to see another side of their family that they don't normally get to see. And that's so awesome that I have some of these recordings of my son at an early age, where when he gets older, I can show him, be like, "Hey man, we've sat down and we've recorded, and this is the nonsense you said. This is what you sounded like, and this is kind of what you and I would talk about as you got older and you had serious conversations with me." And I think it's something neat that we all should do for whatever reason. I don't think you'll regret it in 5 years, 10 years. It's something that I already regret not doing with my uncle. Somewhere out there, I do have, and it's I think lost to, just old hardware that no longer exists, or I don't have it, and I don't know if anyone does. But I had one time only. I sat down with my uncle when we were on vacation together, and we recorded a podcast together. I want to say it was when he first started dating his wife, my aunt, now, and so they weren't even engaged yet. So this is years ago, and I'm really upset that I don't have that, because it's just a, like I said, it's a little audio time capsule that there's something special about it, something more special than a picture, because like you said, you're never going to forget what people look like. And it's even, I don't know, for me, it's more special than a video too, because you can always look at a picture. It's not as easy to get to video sometimes, and maybe it's a little easier to get to audio. Or, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Do it, don't do it. But anyway, so I want to do a little bit of housekeeping on this fairly short episode. For Everything is Awesome, that's entertainment stuff that we do. Before I kick it out over to the about 5-minute, maybe 6-minute conversation that my son, the first ever conversation my son and I ever recorded together, about 21 months ago. So, wanted to talk. Last week we dropped the announcement that Ophidian The Cobra will be a part of our Everything is Awesome late night experience on June 4th as part of the Unofficial Wizard World After Party. We're really excited for that. Make sure you come. If you're in the Philadelphia area, maybe you're just in the Philadelphia area to hang out for Comic-Con, if you got some time after Comic-Con on Sunday, June 4th, head on over to Amalgam Comics and Coffeehouse. It is a dope comic store. Very big, very roomy, very friendly environments. They have, comics, obviously, and they have this little, coffee bar area that's I don't know, it's just really cool. I think they have pastries, too, like a normal coffee house would have. Not 100% sure because I haven't gone deep down in the store yet. But come check it out, June 4th. The entire event, which is dubbed the Unofficial Wizard World After Party, is going to kick off at 4 p.m. with a Quest for Magic and Steel from our friends over at Steel Empire. And that they'll go to just before 5 o'clock, and then around 5 o'clock, Mike and I will go on. Mike's going to have a table for his fantasy series, Tellist. He's debuting his game, his card game there. So he's going to have a lot to talk about with being at Wizard World for 4 days. I actually don't think I'm going to have a chance to go to the con, which is not a huge deal. From what I can tell, it's actually not. There's not, they just kind of dropped some people that I'm really interested in seeing. And this is about a week or two before the event. And I don't know, I can't picture them dropping anything else that would really wow me. They haven't really dropped any announcements yet about what kind of panels they're going to have going on. A lot of it seems to be heavily influenced by this Horror Fest thing that's going on within Wizard World. Which, sounds cool, and I guess if I had time and money to get a 4-day ticket, it would be worth it, but there was nothing on their sheet that wowed me this year. So I don't think, unless something last minute changes where I can maybe make it down Sunday before I go set up for the live show, I don't see me going to Comic-Con this year. Which is a shame because it's an event that I was really looking forward to, and it just, there's nothing that wows me. But doesn't matter because everyone's different. Maybe there's something there that's going to wow you, and I hope you go and I hope you have a good time. And then come tell us about it. Come to Amalgam Comics and Coffeehouse on Frankfurt Ave in Philadelphia, PA, from 4 to 6 p.m. to see A Quest for Magic and Steel. Everything is Awesome. Everything is Awesome is going to have Ophidian The Cobra on. We're going to talk wrestling. We're going to talk Chikara. We have, Ophidian and I have a link there. Tom Carter, Reckless Youth Tom Carter. He is a co-founder of Chikara Pro Wrestling, and he also trained me in my days of wrestling. So we're going to have a cool little conversation with Ophidian. And then we're also going to have Brian Gway on to do some stand-ups, comedy. So that's going to be exciting. And to go a little further out, which you can always go to latenight.awesomepodcast.com to see all our live events. But going a little further out to July is the Philadelphia Podcast Festival, baby, the 5th annual Philadelphia Podcast Fest. And oh boy, am I excited for it. Things kick off January 14th, I believe. That's the, I guess maybe third weekend in July. 14th, 15th, and 16th is the first weekend of the Philadelphia Podcast Fest. You can see me there on the 15th and the 16th. I'll be at Tattooed Mom. I'll be managing the events that day, those 2 days, that weekend. And also, Everything is Awesome Late Night Podcast Fest edition will be going on at 2 p.m. on July 16th. And we're going back to back. I've seen two versions of the schedule where Doom Thugs is on ahead of us, and then they're on after us. I'm not exactly sure, but if you came to our event, it's podcasting time, then you'll love the back-to-back shows of Everything is Awesome and Doom Thugs. There's a lot of great shows that weekend at Tattooed Moms. I know that The Blacklisted, which is actually an old buddy of mine, Nubius Black, Rodney Johnson, from my wrestling days, that's his podcast. So he's going to be at the Podcast Fest. I believe he's there on Saturday, July 15th. I don't have the schedule in front of me. You can go to phillypodfest.com/schedule to see the full schedule. But then, it's not just one weekend of fun. It goes on to the next weekend. Which is we'll say 22nd, 23rd, something like that. And I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days. So 6 days of podcasting. Most of it's free. We brought in, I say we because I am claiming to work for the Philadelphia Podcast Fest as the director of Awesome for the Philadelphia Podcast Fest. But we brought in some outside acts to celebrate the fact that this is our 5th annual event. So you can check them out also on the schedule on phillypodfest.com/schedule. Those events are the only, not the only, but they're the ones. They are definitely paid events, based off of the venues that they're going to be at and whatnot. Most of the festival is free. If you come to Tattooed Moms on the 15th, 16th, and the following weekend, they are free events. All we ask is that you enjoy yourself. Have a couple drinks, get some tater tots. We all know that Tattooed Moms has some good tater tots. Check them out while you're there and just, imbibe. They are a sponsor of the Philadelphia Podcast Fest. So, do them a favor, do us a favor, and just enjoy yourselves with a couple drinks, cocktail or two, while you're enjoying hours of free entertainment. Including Everything is Awesome, Doom Thugs, The Blacklisted. I'm very, very upset that Full Belly Laughs is on the weekend after, because I'm going to be, I'm not upset that I'm going to be on vacation, but I'm going to be on vacation the following weekend, the second half of the Philadelphia Podcast Fest. I'm going to be enjoying life. I'm going to be drinking a brew or two. So I'm not upset about that. I am upset that I'm going to be missing Full Belly Laughs. I like when they are on the same time as I am, because that is one show you do not want to miss, I assure you. Brian Durkin puts on one hell of a show. Whole Philadelphia Podcast Fest is going to be a fun event. I personally am pleading with you that you come at 2 o'clock on July 16th to check out Everything is Awesome, because we're going to make it something special. We already got Brian Durkin on as our stand-up comedian. We're going to find an awesome guest to bring in, I assure you, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a lot more fun stuff planned. It will be kind of like our 1-year anniversary of live shows. Our first live show ever was at the 2016 Philadelphia Podcast Fest, and we're going back. I'm very grateful to be as involved as I am in the podcasting scene here in Philadelphia that I am. I'm very grateful to everyone, the Super Friends, for allowing me to be like that. All right, one last piece of things I want to talk about, which is related to the Philadelphia Podcast Fest. Hopefully you don't hate the sound of my voice, because starting in mid-June, going to the Wednesday before the last weekend of the Philadelphia Podcast Fest, we're going to be doing something epic. Last year we did 2 podcasts a week. Every Wednesday, or I don't know I think maybe we were Wednesdays and Fridays by then. I think we were doing Wednesdays and Fridays to help promote for the Philadelphia Podcast Fest. Well, this year I'm upping my game. I don't know the exact schedule, but I have officially contacted every single show on that schedule that I could find contact info for. I think there's only 2 or 3 shows that despite how much I searched, I could not find a contact for. So almost every single show has been contacted. I am in the process of scheduling a bunch of those interviews, and I am, instead of saving them up and airing them throughout the course of Everything is Awesome's history, we are going full force release from mid-June to a little after mid-July. So whether that means 2 episodes a week, or 3 episodes a week, or 4 episodes a week, or 5 episodes a week, or if we end up recording with every single show and we have to air one every single day, we're going to air one every single day. Everything is Awesome is going to celebrate the 5th annual Philadelphia Podcast Fest. We are also going balls to the wall with it, and it's going to be a good time. I already have a couple scheduled or in the process of getting scheduled, and really, really a lot of good positive feedback from people getting back to me about partaking in this little fun thing that we're doing here. I think that's really it. That's everything that we got going on. You can check out the That's Entertainment Podcast Network at thatentertains.com/network. We still have the same shows that we launched with. If Convos with Kiddos becomes its own thing, that will likely hop on the thatentertains.com/network podcast network. I'm really working on a new project, a new audio drama. It's going to be about 10 episodes long for the first season, assuming that we get to do more than one season. It's scripted. It's scripted and improv, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone I've talked to about it is actually really excited for it. So I'm wrapping up the draft for the first episode, and once that happens, we're going to cast it and hopefully get it recorded. I am so excited for it, guys, and you'll be the first to know about it right here. Actually, that's not true. Our Patreon users will be the first to know about it. So if you want to be in the know about a really cool project, you can hop on that patreon.com/thatentertains, and you'll be the first to see the logo unveiling, to see what new podcast audio drama we have coming out. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited for it. I'm also working on, it's a dream of mine to do a tabletop podcast. So working on something that is that hopefully we'll be doing. I want to do it this year, but I don't know. But with some inspiration from Jeff Stormer from Party of One podcast and James D'Amato from the One Shot podcasts and Campaign podcast and the entire One Shot podcast network. Some inspiration from them guys and some words of encouragement from them. I have a plan in place for what I'm calling 4 or 5 seasons of the show, but which is really, about a year, 52 to 65 episodes worth of content. I have kind of mapped out to a little degree in some notes that I have. So, looking to expand the podcasting that we do, though very careful to try not to get too involved, too much on my plate so that I go crazy and stop doing it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to call us at 267-223-4965 or email me at awesome@crewdimmerstudios.com. Hit me up on Twitter. The show is at RealAwesomePod on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at ThatNerdyKev. You'll get more of a response from that because I checked that on the reg. And you can find us on Facebook.com/awesomepodcast. No, I think we're on Facebook.com/RealAwesomePod as well. And that's where all our events are that we're doing there, and latenight.awesomepodcast.com. We're hopefully going to PAX Unplugged. I'm hoping to do some cool things with PAX Unplugged. So one way you can help ensure that happens is supporting us through iTunes. Apple Podcast reviews are a huge way to make us get more eyes on us so that more people are listening to us, so that more reviews come in, so that we get a bigger splash. And a bigger splash means we get to do cool, very cool things. And these very cool things that we want to do for PAX Unplugged could help if you just go on to iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever they're calling it these days and leave a 5-star review for us. Not just a 5-star review, 5-star written review. The iTunes math, when you do that, it helps us get us on the front page, and A, that would be just super cool. B, it's a free for nothing way for you to help support this show. Word of mouth recommendations, all that jazz and whatnot. And of course, if you have some extra scratch and you want to support us financially, patreon.com/thatentertains. If we could just get our operating costs covered, I'd be so happy. But as of now, we're still doing the thing that we do, and we love it, and no signs of stopping now. So, thank you all for listening. After you hear the Everything is Awesome's Core Temp Arts Podcast Network tag, it will kick right into the very first episode of Convos with Kiddos that I've recorded, featuring my son Trey, right here on awesomepodcast.com, coretempsart.com, and for Convos with Kiddos, thatentertains.com/network. We'll see you next time right here on awesomepodcast.com and coretemparts.com.
Thank you for listening to the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. To listen to more Core Temp Arts shows, visit coretemparts.com.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, we're recording, baby. You gotta grab your microphone so you can record and talk. What are you doing? No. Are you gonna record or no?
Oh, yeah.
Sit up here. And then put your headphones on so we can hear each other. And then hold the microphone. Don't scream, okay?
Okay.
Talk normal. Talk how you're gonna talk.
Okay.
No, talk normal, Trey.
Okay.
Tell me about your day.
My day was good. I hanged out with Mommy. You went to work. I was glad. I went to errands.
You went to errands? Who's Aaron?
I went to AC Mall.
You went to AC Moore. Okay.
But we didn't go to the library to turn my books.
Why not?
We were going to do that this month, but something went wrong.
Something went wrong?
Yeah, I said I want to play with Liam and Jordan first, but now I can't play.
Well, they went home for the day. It's almost 9 p.m., which means it's almost time for bed, bud.
That means I can't play. That means I can't go to the store with Liam and Jordan. I mean, with Mom.
Right. Because it's late and it's time for bed almost.
But do you know that I can do amazing stuff?
What kind of amazing stuff can you do? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Hey, Mom, coming in.
Did you drop the cat?
No.
All right, we'll find it later. What amazing stuff can you do?
Hold on.
Twist your head. That's what you can do?
Yeah. See?
Talking to the mic, man.
See?
I do see.
So, and then when I can twist.
Yeah, we can't hear you when you do that.
Dad, do you want to take you? I'm taking my headphones off now.
Why? Are you done recording?
Yes.
All right. Well, you know what we have to do?
What?
When we're done recording, we got to say, thanks for listening this week to Convos with Kiddos.
Why?
Because that's our sign-off.
Oh.
How do you want to say goodbye when we talk?
With a mouth.
Yeah, but what do you want to say when we say goodbye? Like Kevin Smith says, have a week. What do you want to say on this show?
What do you say?
What? How do you want to say goodbye? You know how we say. How do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
You know how to say goodbye.
Talking to the microphone, man.
You know how to say goodbye, like.
With your mouth. That's how we're gonna say. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Convos with Kiddos this week. I'm Daddy, aka Kev, and what's your name?
Thank you for listening to Tato Takeies tonight. I love Daddy. My name, Kevin Michael says I have a little Toyman. Name, Mommy, Daddy.
That's a little. We can just go with Trey. How about we just go with Trey instead of Kevin Michael Gallagher the third Trey man?
No, let's go with Michael. I'm Michael Gallagher the third Trey man. Dagalord wheel name Upway and Dagalord wheel Jordan, Mommy, Liam, and that's it. Bye. I love you.
Take care. Have a time. I don't know what her sign off.
Take care. Have a time. I don't know what my dad's saying.
We need a good sign off.
Yeah, we need a sign off.
What's our sign off? What should we say as we end the show?
Hello, you're night well. Bye.
Hello, what?
In the night well. Turn off.
Hello, you're in the 9th round. Turn off.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna say goodbye.
Night well. Bye. I love you. Oh, dang. Night well. Hello.
All right, that's our show. Take care.
Take care.
Peace out.
Peace out.
This has been a That's Entertainment Podcast Network podcast. Looking for more podcasts about pop culture, TV and film, and other entertainment? Find all our shows on thatentertains.com/network.